So it's a combination of a bunch of things. I mean, first off, you need to promote the open house before.
Every single buyer that I show properties to, a phone call is made and there is a discussion with the listing agent prior to me showing the property because
It's people who are actually looking to make a move. You don't really get those looky-loos who are totally unserious. You're getting real serious people.
if you are coming to something unprepared, you are preparing yourself to fail.
I'm a big data guy. I love looking at all the data for everything. But at the end of the day, the square feet is already published online.
Okay, what have you been doing to kind of generate business and leverage some escrows?
One of the great things that we've been doing lately is finding really interesting ways to make open houses work for the benefit of the client and really generate a ton of people coming in.
What are you leveraging ultimately to get people to come into open houses for you?
So it's a combination of a bunch of things. I mean, first off, you need to promote the open house before, days and days before. So that's going to be putting it out online on all the big websites, Zillow, Realtor.com, Julia, Homes.com, all of those. You're going to want to shoot a video, put that on Instagram and all the other places and boost that and put some ad dollars behind it, get a lot of people in. One thing I do is I put out a minimum of about 20 to 25 open house signs. Those are going to go all over all the major intersections. Any big intersection, you're going to put 6. So you're going to go 3 down on one side of the road, 3 down on the other side of the road. You never know when the wind is going to come and blow 1 over or 2 or 3 over. So you got to have redundancy. Every other side street should have 2 to 3 signs. And so it's really easy to get up to 25 signs and make sure that people are coming.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the preparation for an open house is where you're going to find most of your success in it. The days of just being able to slap up a sign on a couple corners and getting a ton of attention on the property that you're holding open is kind of out the door, right? So for me, when it comes to open houses, preparation is crucial. Okay. We're not just posting it on the MLS the day before and running the show. We should be at least posting on the MLS, getting it on all the main competing websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, all that fun stuff. And then we need to be blasting it on social media, whether that's just client outreach as far as who's following you, who's friends with you, so on and so forth, or you're actually boosting the ad for the open house is crucial. But it doesn't stop there, okay? What we tell a lot of our agents to do when first things first when you get to an open house is post a video on social media, inviting people there, incentivizing, having something that makes people want to come to the open house besides just, hey, I'm holding an open house. So one way that we're kind of leveraging that is partnering with some local shops, local stores, mom and pop shops, as we like to say it, and offering a gift card or 15% off your next purchase or whatnot. So that way we're actually inviting people to support local businesses in our local community, and people are incentivized to come because there's something valuable besides just the open house at the end of the day, right? Have you found any struggles that you've been seeing with open houses recently?
My open houses tend to crush it.
Okay,
Most
okay.
of the time,
Yeah,
I get a
no.
really good turnout.
What is something that you're doing that separates you from other agents to bring more attention to your open houses?
So it's going to be a combination of all those things. It's going to be posting it online, posting it on social media. I do a lot of door knocking in the neighborhood. The nosy neighbors love to come and see the house. And you might not know, but about 40% of home buyers are already in the neighborhood, whether that's the actual person who wants to upsize or downsize, get out of their 2-story, get into a single story, whatever it may be. Or they might have a friend or family member who they want to be close by. So by door knocking and raising awareness in the local community and letting them know, hey, who do you know who might want to be in this house, you can get a killer turnout and a lot of interest.
Oh, absolutely. I think something that's important that you just reflected is actually leveraging the local market to bring buyers to the table. I think a lot of agents that hold open houses are hoping that the perfect buyer is going to come through the door and you're going to be able to get a contract on the table at that time. Most of the time, that's not the case. Our goal, as far as an open house is concerned, is marketing in general across the board, whether it's nosy neighbors that have a family member that's considering moving to Northern Nevada, or somebody who's driving around town and see the open house signs and say, hey, let's go take a peek. I've been able to generate multiple transactions based off of those quote unquote looky loos because at the end of the day, once they see the actual property, as long as it's in great condition, it's priced well, and they come in and take a look at it, they're not only going to be interested in looking into purchasing that property, but expanding into the overall market. So one note to take from that is I have the energy when I'm holding open houses that I'm there to generate buyers, not only for the property that we're holding open and is currently listed, but I'm also there to help buyers explore other options. So setting an appointment to show property elsewhere after the open house is over is a great way to get people in the doors and incentivize them to ultimately work with you. Get a buyer's representation signed by them, obviously. But at the end of the day, open houses for me are a great way to just build clients, build opportunities, build transactions, and leveraging your time wisely while you're doing so.
You might think that a lot of people start their home purchasing journey on the internet, which is definitely true for most people. But NAR comes out with that study every year. They haven't come out with the 2025 one yet, but in 2024, 2023, every previous year, open houses are consistently one of the top places that people start their home buying journey. And it's surprising because we think that it might be more of the internet, and certainly that's one of the top ones too. But open houses is where people really get started. You see the sign, honey, stop the car, let's go take a look at it. And that's how it gets started.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, when I see open house signs, it always catches my eye. So if I was somebody that was either in the market currently or simply enjoys the area that we're in and I see open house signs, it's going to incentivize me at the very least to go see the curb appeal at the very least. If the house looks nice and I want to go inside, it gives me the opportunity to explore local properties that are currently on the market. But Brad, you mentioned something about online shopping. There's one thing that the first couple years of my life I didn't quite understand because I did have an ego involved. I wanted to build my own brand, build my own business, and generate business organically, which is still great. We still want everyone to generate business organically because that is the structure of their business. That is going to be their consistent business as for years to come. And I feel like a lot of agents who can't generate business organically are the agents that are struggling to pay their bills. And fortunately, I was able to get an offer to join a Zillow Flex team and manage a team that is includes a lot of motivated agents that are wanting to not only build their business organically but also expand their business and database through Zillow Flex. Did you know that 36% of buyers find their agent through Zillow?
I didn't know that. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy to think about because to me that means that 36% of the market I was missing out on. So when I decided to join a Zillow Flex team, I was expanding my business by 36% potentially. And from there, it's not necessarily on generating the business for the first transaction. It's building a database of people that know me, they like me, and they trust me when we close on their property that can refer me business in the future. And I was able to expand my database strictly through Zillow Flex while also organically growing my business through open houses, door knocking, cold calling, past client sphere of influence, all that fun stuff. So Zillow Flex has been a great asset to my business because it's been able to expand my business by 36%. That's a crazy number.
The other thing is, I don't know if this is just my anecdotal experience or if there's some data to back this up, but I find that the majority of those Zillow people are first-time buyers. It's the renters looking to get into their first home. And those people, in 5 years, they're going to be moving and moving again and moving again. So I don't know if it's necessarily exactly accurate, but I think that a large part of those are renters looking to get into their first homes, which is a great group of people to be helping out.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of camaraderie when it comes to taking Zillow leads or online leads in general across the board for real estate agents in general because there's this misconception that oh it's just a Zillow lead or it's just a lead. I don't look at any Zillow Flex lead or somebody that contacts an agent through Zillow as a lead necessarily. I look at them as opportunities because these clients, these individuals are not only interested in the real estate market, they found a property that they're interested in, and we get verified information when it comes to being able to capitalize on that opportunity. Meaning, the correct phone numbers, the correct emails, so on and so forth. And we're actually setting an appointment with them when we first meet them, which is awesome. So we don't, the classic PPC leads or the classic online leads that you pay $150 for and you get 1,000 leads with wrong phone numbers, wrong emails. We've been able to capitalize through Zillow Flex because we have verified phone numbers. They call us, they're interested in the property, and we can show up to that property and instantly provide value for them because we have an understanding of what they're looking for already.
It's people who are actually looking to make a move. You don't really get those looky-loos who are totally unserious. You're getting real serious people who've taken an action to schedule a tour to actually see a home that they like. And those people are pretty serious and they really want to transact and get into a home.
Absolutely. So, Brad, how have you been able to leverage your business, not only taking Zillow Flex online leads, but also generate organic business in your real estate career?
I mean, I find Zillow Flex to be such a great tool for the day-to-day staying busy. I really try and leverage every single showing in multiple different ways. If you're just showing up right at the time that you're supposed to be there, you're missing a ton of opportunities. You should be showing up 30 minutes beforehand. You should knock on the doors of 5 or 10 neighbors, see how they like the neighborhood. Because when you show up and you don't know anything about the house, you're not providing really any value. When you know what the neighbors are saying, they love the neighborhood, or maybe they hate the neighborhood, you're able to convey additional information to the buyer who you're going to be meeting there and know a lot more about the neighborhood.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. A lot of selling real estate and finding the perfect property for somebody goes much deeper than just the property itself. So when you discuss door knocking the neighborhood before an open house and finding out what people really enjoy about the neighborhood and the location, you can relay that value into potential buyers that come to the table during open houses or potential buyers on a listing that you have. So when you discuss door knocking the neighborhood, you're not only capitalizing on potentially finding a buyer, you're also finding out further information on a property. And at the end of the day, being a listing agent, we want to present a property the best we possibly can. And I think a lot of agents drop the ball when it comes to that. We've all been in the open house where you walk in, you ask a simple question like, what's the square footage of this property? And the agent who's holding the open house has no idea. The goal of being a listing agent is to not only understand the overall property, but understand the market, understand the neighborhood, and also find out what's important to the clients or the current homeowners in that neighborhood and why they live there. It goes much deeper than just listing a real estate property.
Look, I'm a big data guy. I love looking at all the data for everything. But at the end of the day, the square feet is already published online. When you meet a Zillow Flex person at a house that they're looking at, they already know the square footage. They know how many bedrooms and bathrooms it is. You're not really providing any additional information by knowing that stuff, but by talking to the neighbors and finding out about the neighborhood, that specific stuff you just can't find online. That's the type of thing that you can only find by being there in person. On the other thing you said about knowing what you're showing when you're at an open house, you really should know that stuff. I mean, if you don't know the square footage and you don't know how many bedrooms are in the house that you're showing, you're just totally failing. I was shopping for a car recently and I thought it was crazy because at a new car dealership where they're selling maybe 10 cars and it's the same 10 cars all day, every day, you'd think they would know every little thing in and out. I went to like 5 different dealerships. I went to all the big manufacturers. None of the salespeople knew the ins and outs of every single car they were showing. They were like, oh, I think this button does this. I don't know what this button does. I don't know how this feature works. And it's like, you're in this car every day. There's only 10 of them. How do you not know every feature? Meanwhile, we have 3,000, 4,000 homes on the market here in Northern Nevada. And it's impossible to know every single detail about all 3,000 or 4,000 homes, but you should know the one that you're in, at least, some basic information about it.
Absolutely. And I think as far as a lot of buyers agents are concerned, I think a lot of them get into the habit of just scheduling the appointment on showing time, going and opening the door and reading off of their MLS sheet and exploring the property. One of the biggest drawbacks I believe in that is you're not creating rapport. You're not creating a relationship with the listing agent and really truly finding out some things that the seller really enjoys about the property that might not be marketable. Maybe some things that the seller really needs if you guys presented a contract. Every single buyer that I show properties to, a phone call is made and there is a discussion with the listing agent prior to me showing the property, because I'm on a mission to find out what's important to the seller in a transaction. What are some things that the seller really enjoys about the property? What are some drawbacks to the property potentially, which, as you can imagine, I don't really get answers on. But the goal to it is find out further information before I show that property so I can relay that to the client. So if my client wants to present an offer, I'm already prepared. I heard this saying when I was younger, that if you are coming to something unprepared, you are preparing yourself to fail. So I take that to heart in every single showing, every single listing appointment, every single contract, everything I can do to come to the table and represent my client to my fullest capability starts with a phone call with the agent. And I think there's a lot of agents out there that unfortunately are too scared to pick up the phone and have a conversation with another representing party, and they're just dropping the ball. If you're working with an agent right now who is not calling the other representing agent, they're missing out on opportunity for you, and they're not representing you to their fullest capability, in my opinion, because there are a lot of things that can be said and disclosed on one simple phone call that takes 5 minutes. That's all it takes.
I called a client just yesterday who has been looking for homes, hasn't found one that she liked. And she mentioned, oh, there's this one that I have seen, but the price is just way outside of reality for me. And I looked at it and the house was listed for 760. And I see why she thought that the price wasn't quite right. Picked up the phone, I called the agent. I said, hey, we're thinking it's probably closer to about 600,000, which is a huge drop. And the agent said, we would be super excited to see an offer at 600,000. So we're going to see the property. You never know what that phone call is going to bring. You really need to pick up the phone and find out, what's going on with each property.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think at the end of the day, what separates good agents from great agents are agents that are willing to go to battle for their clients. It's not a simple, hey, let's set the appointment. I'm going to let my drip campaign from the MLS send you property. Let me know if you need anything. No. When it comes to my business, and I'm sure many other successful agents in this industry, they are seeking and chasing after the business. They are physically sending properties to their clients. They are setting the appointments and being available for their clients at the times that their clients are available to show property. And most importantly, they're building rapport with every single property that they look at. Just in case their client is wanting to present an offer, they're already prepared and can set proper expectations to their clients to make a smooth transaction happen.
If you've told me that your timeline is, let's say, less than 3 months out, I'm going to be sending you homes very regularly, multiple times a week. I'm going to be saying, hey, did you see these 2, 3, 5 homes that hit the market? Let's go see them. And yeah, you need to be active. You need to be on top of looking at specific homes, spending time, finding homes that will match what your client's looking for, and sending them out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm super excited for you, Brad, as this 2026 year is kicked off. You've already got some escrows. You're already out there grinding. The team overall is constantly out there showing value to their clients, setting proper expectations for their clients. And we absolutely love having you on the team. And I appreciate you hopping on for a quick minute to discuss real estate.